Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, where everything you're about to hear and see has been done in one take. I'm your host, the One Take Man. I'm once again on Reddit, more specifically on r/Farscape, and I've just now noticed that this icon here has has a little diagram of Scorpius along with his cooling device, so to speak. I have talked about Farscape a few times in the past and about my my connection to the show, and I have to say I'm glad to see it has a Reddit following. Let's see. Let me see. Can you see that? Yeah, you can actually see that. There are 7.4 thousand members in general, or astronauts as they're called here. I'm surprised it's not astronauts. If you know, you know. And 119 Frelniks. Oh, yeah. I'm not gonna translate that. It's it's fandom lingo. Get into the fandom so you could so you get it. And I very much recommend you get into fandom for other reasons as well, because it's a good show. It's worth talking about. That's why I'm doing it. That's why I'm doing it right now, even though I haven't talked about this show in years actually by this point. Still, I want to see what other people say about it. Starting with, in case you're wondering, this video is actually recorded mid-May-ish. So if there are any developments in terms of in terms of the Farscape fandom, and you don't see them here, well, then you'll know that the development comes after the production date of this video. So anyway, going on, starting off with a question for the group, Farscape DVDs. I have the entire series on DVD, but they are early releases that only have a few episodes per case. Yeah. I'm somewhat surprised people still talk about DVDs in in the age of streaming, but it's good to have physical media involved. It's it's easier to preserve, easier to archive. Some could say it's also easier to pirate, but then again, pirating contributes to archiving to a surprising degree. Let me say it like that. Over 25 cases when you count the Peacekeeper Wars film. 25 cases of DVDs is actually more shelf space than I have behind me, if I really consider it. So, yeah, that's sizable. And even though I very much enjoy this series, maybe I won't use the word love because it's a heavy word, but still I do. But still I do see its merits. Would I want to have 25 cases? So my question is there any interest among fans and or collectors for these releases? That I really can't say. I'm not I'm not really connected to any collectors. But I imagine there could be some kind of there could be some kind of niche that would cater to that. You are more likely to find the answer on something like YouTube, however, like look up DVD collectors or something, and then you might find a few people. At least one of those people also have like DMs somewhere. So just go on there. Just have other social media presences that also allow for DMs as well. So find those people, get in their DMs, and who am I kidding? This video will be 2 months old, so will potentially be 2 months too late for this for Time Shifter Pod. But until then, that is really the best recommendation I can make. Moving on, we have a Google ad. Fuck it. Happy Mother's Day to the Radiant 8 Aaron soon. Oh yeah, of course was Mother's Day recently. It's actually Father's Day today. Yeah. I deliberately obscured the dates on these things so they remain a little bit more timeless, but then I'm hit with stuff like this. Also, for those of you who don't know, Aaron Soon does actually become a mother in the Peacekeeper Wars. So not in the series itself, but in the epilogue miniseries. Moving ahead, AI from the real John Crichton. Okay, didn't know you were here. Okay, so since AI basically can do anything, no, it can't, and they're remaking everything. I hope not. Yeah, that's unfortunately true. Part 2s are coming out, Part 3s are coming out, Part 4s, didn't the Fast and the Furious just make a Part 11? Why can't I have a couple more seasons of Farscape? Use the same characters, they're pretty much all alive besides Rigel. Okay, seriously, dude, fuck you. Like, just fuck you. What do you think? Do you think they could do this and would it work? Okay, the fact that you started with AI makes me think that you want to do that you want them to be like then you want they basically want the original cast to do voice acting and then have their images be and then have their representations be basically moved on the screen with AI. And to that I say fuck you. To that I say the deepest possible fuck you I can muster. And Fast and the Furious didn't just make a Part 11. I think they intended to make a Part 11, but it didn't. But it ultimately didn't pan out. I might be wrong there. But ultimately, my answer to a Farscape continuation or revival would be that it would have to follow. It would actually have to follow Dargo Soon Crichton, aka the son of John and Aaron, because keep in mind that by the end of the series, or one of the last frames of the Peacekeeper Wars, is actually this thing right here, where his parents promise him the entire universe, and that is very much a possibility because, on the one hand, John Crichton has knowledge of wormholes, and on the other hand, Aaron was once part pilot, and therefore has part pilot, and by part pilot I mean the species, because she already has pilot training from her time with the Peacekeepers. But the point here is that he has some level that he would have some level of either innate awareness of a broader concept of spatial exploration that is otherwise explored in science fiction, and he lives in the perfect milieu within which he can expand upon those capabilities. And if you look at the hints that are strewn throughout Farscape, you'll find that there is very much a level of abstract space exploration that he can go on. Think about what's Zan's species name? Yeah, think about how their priesthood is to some extent literally connected to the fabric of space through their mind. Think about beings like Maldus, who can who have similar levels of control and influence, or even going a little bit beyond that. Think about the not the precursors, but Jack's species, like godlike aliens with wormhole powers who retreated from the regular universe for for whatever reason. That is the kind of exploration that Dargo Soon Crichton could go on, and that is the kind of thing that Farscape, that a potential Farscape revival, I think, should go down. Not just exploring the far reaches of space, but literally delving into its fabric and seeing how exactly it can be, and seeing how exactly it is holding itself together. What what creatures can exist between worlds, so to speak, and also beyond that, what things threaten everything that exists there. It's a little bit more conceptual than just go very far away and find some very weird aliens. It's it's about exploring some very weird speculative fiction ideas that go beyond the bounds of like 99% of all science fiction, but it could be done and it could be amazing. And that is really the only additional project that I would consider within the that I consider worth exploring within within the Farscape IP. Moving ahead, Farscape cosplay. Okay, that's ambitious, by Nathaniel of Lorien. Anyone here ever cosplayed from the show? I would love to. In fact, I got some ideas potentially to do a crossover cosplay with Star Wars in a sense, especially for my Mandalorian getup. Go ahead. But when he's not wearing the armor, I can totally see him, the Mandalorian, whichever Mandalorian that is, whether we're talking about the guy who has his own show or or someone else, wearing a set of nice slim black spacesuit. I just love the look of them. I guess I admire the look of it when John and Aaron wear them in some of the episodes, especially in season 3. Question is, I wonder what the material is used to craft them. I think it's just leather or polyurethane, so you can just have one of those whipped up. It's no, I don't think it's really that big, that big of a deal otherwise. Like, but I see you've got plenty of answers, so that's it. Related communities: Deep Space Nine, Firefly, Babylon 5, BSG. I could actually do some content on Firefly, come to think of it. I've seen the entire show years ago, but I didn't, and I have my own thoughts on it. Now, thoughts that are a little bit contradictory to what the mainline fan opinion is, but that goes beyond that. Nobody puts Pilot in the corner. Okay, this is just a funny picture. Funny picture with a funny description. I even gave it a like, it seems. Let's see. Moving ahead, another recipe, another ad. Green-eyed monster, outstanding. Okay, let's open this up in a new window. Can you see it actually? Yeah, you can. Good. Green-eyed monster writing is outstanding. Currently watching Green-eyed Monster. There are 2 quotes in the episode that amuse me every time. Number 1, Aaron. Unless you have a better idea, it was my idea, but it'll work. It was my idea, but it'll work? Well, the cables are iridium alloy. As long as we hit bone, we should hold fast. Good. I must be smarter than I look. That would be easy. And then number 2, Rigel and Grace. Well, of course I'm back. Where the yachts are you? We are somewhat inconveniently tethered inside a budong. Inconvenient? Kiss my mevonks. Stark, get out of here. Stark thinks he's some kind of budong expert. What? Oh, you're loose. Not half as loose as Chiana. Now listen. Felt compelled on this rewatch to take the time to look up who the writer was. It was Mr. Browder himself, as it happens. Yeah, I actually counted upon Green-eyed Monster myself, in that I found it was not a particularly good episode from perhaps an event perspective, but it is an interesting episode from a character perspective in terms of what is done with it, and in terms of how it connects to the broader journey and connections that the show itself is built upon. Though admittedly it does kind of screw Rigel and Stark over in its endeavors, but oh well, not everyone can be a mainline figure. Happens. Cross-posting from r/Hydro Homies. There's a planet out there with no land, none, just water deeper than anything on Earth, wrapping the entire world from pole to pole. It's bigger than ours, it's real, and it has a name. TOI 1452b. This is the kind of planet that would appear in Star Wars that would just just be there. Like it's one of those Lucas world building ideas where Coruscant is a city so big it spans over an entire continent. Tatooine is a desert so big it encompasses an entire planet. This is an ocean so big it encompasses an entire planet, basically. Allow the minerals in Kujaga Sea to soothe Moya, and you rest and regenerate your connection to her. Oh, yeah. This is something that I imagine could be said within within Farscape. They never really had a very a really aquatic themed episode, kind of think of it. But a planet like this proves that they could have done that if they really wanted to. And also we have and also here it is presented how the what kind of justification there could be for that kind of thing. Anyway, moving ahead, some Farscape art, not particularly not particularly well designed. I'm starting to figure out why why I decided to make Rigel so huge. This is Zan in her back when she was diseased, I think. Crichton looks very much looks like a fuckboy here. Eren has a very unfortunate pose. This is, I'm not sure who this is supposed to be. My first thought is Chiana, but I don't know. I don't know what this thing on her head is really supposed to be. Pilot's been done the dirtiest by this. Dargo looks fine. He just looks pissed off. And then Krace here. Oh well. I guess it was a quick sketch something. Recycling on Moya by user Naughty Toys. I've been watching Farscape since day one. Love the show, multiple views. I am today a year old when I asked the question, what has the crew done with all the people that have died, exploded, or been killed on Moya? What are the options in the vastness of the ship? What are your thoughts? Well, back when I first did my my earliest videos on Moya, I also did on Farscape. I also did some videos on Lex, which was another another series with a similar premise. A group of escapees from an oppressive society, fleeing said society on on an organic ship or a bioship, so to speak, living ship. And that, funnily enough, was actually answered within that show. The idea that the ship itself, to some extent, metabolizes the various bodies. Because let me just tell you, a lot of people died there, and and also beyond that, due to the way the show puts together its humor and its presentation, and by that I mean Lex, it is very clearly indicated that there are a whole bunch of biological processes occurring all throughout the ship, which means that which basically means that resources are being recycled and reused quite continuously aboard the Lex. I imagine something similar would occur on Moya as well, specifically because in Season 3, Episode 7 or 9, I think, the Looney Tunes episode, it is actually mentioned in the side story that there are a whole bunch of species that live in a whole bunch of other living beings of various species that live in symbiosis with Moya herself. And thereby ensuring various kinds of biological processes are maintained. And I imagine those beings could also be involved with collecting unused organic material and then recirculating it throughout the ship. But that's just my speculation. Remember that post about the Farscape SG1 poster? Okay, there was a Farscape SG1 poster, Sci-Fi Friday. That's perhaps not particularly surprising, but is this AI? It looks AI. It is AI, isn't it? Okay, this one might not be, but well, it's a pretty logical conclusion to come to. It's a pretty logical conclusion to come to really cross these two over, especially when you consider that Claudia Black and Ben Browder were both on both shows. Anyway, moving ahead. From Hyrule Balverine. Season 4, Episode 12. Why do they all speak English? I'm on a rewatch of the series again, and I'm on Season 4, Episode 12, Kansas. I actually mentioned that episode in my... in my overview or retrospective of Farscape. In this episode, Crichton and several of Moya's crew travel through a wormhole to 1986 Earth. Oh. That means I must have... Are you... either I specified the wrong episode or you're specifying the wrong episode. Moving ahead, the crew goes to the planet to make sure that whatever ripples are caused by Crichton traveling back in time are negated and time stays mostly the same. While on the planet, for some reason, the members of Moya's crew who are there are repeatedly understood by the humans there. Not exactly the case, for reasons I'll get into a little bit later. The previous episode showed Eren reading a book to learn English, but only Eren. Everyone else who went back to 1986 only understands John because of translator microbes. Translator microbes are also the only... Looks like I'll have to open a second tab for this. Reason why John can understand him. We saw this in the pilot episode, and this specific plot point was referenced again in the previous episode. Oh yeah, unrealized realities. That's a good point. So then, why is everyone else able to communicate in English while in 1986 Florida? No human other than our John should be able to understand any of them except for Eren. That is actually a plot point mentioned within the episode itself, that Eren has to do, Eren has to do all the talking because because the rest of the crew doesn't really get it. Edited to point out that I'm referring to the part of the episode where they are in 1986, Earth's past, and that I am referring specifically to the episode Kansas, not the next episode where they visit modern-day Earth. Well, again, as I've mentioned, it is very much, I don't recall anyone else really talking to, anyone, except for Chiana, who interacts with a young Crichton. And because of the way her language sounds to him as a human, he thinks her name is Karen Shaw, and they sleep together, and leading to that being Crichton's first sexual experience. I think the age of consent in Florida is 16, but don't quote me on that. Regardless, I don't actually recall that. I don't actually recall that being the case. I'm pretty sure that that was in fact a plot point, and that people and that the crew of Moya really didn't have any means of communicating with humans other than Crichton, because of translator microbes, who would then interact with other people, and Eren, who learned, who by then actually learned just a few English phrases. So yeah, I think Hyrule is misremembering this episode, but that's just my opinion. I wanted to start a timer, but I guess I missed that. Let me see it recording. Okay, we're 23 minutes in. Now we can do a few more. Another ad, this time by Bethesda. Fuck Bethesda. Filmrise Sci-Fi channel on Roku is now airing Farscape. Hoorah! Tomoscape. Oh yeah. I think Hidachi Tomo as a game came out somewhat recently. A game where you create a whole bunch of avatars and have them interacting with a fictional world. Someone seems to have recreated Scorpius. And one thing I appreciate about Farscape by JLW Scene. This is going to be another long one, so I'm going to open it in a new window. That this guy is actually legitimately evil. Oh yeah, Scorpius. My favorite villain in all of fiction. I've not watched much of it yet. You really should stick with it, because he really becomes one of the highlights of the show. But like, regardless of where you are, keep with it, because he either becomes or remains one of the highlights of the show. I've not watched much of it yet, but there are several interesting elements. He is actually malevolent. He is not like Dukat from DS9. That was just too nice up until he became Space Hitler. We see a lot of things he is up to, a lot of character stuff happening, whereas a lot of sci-fi just has the bad guy as kind of mysterious other out there, purely functional. He is also very intelligent and a clear threat, with physical prowess and smelling fear and such. Somehow his menace doesn't get decreased, as he is explained, as also sometimes happens in shows. So I guess he has been explained to some degree so far, but I really don't know how far this person has to make it, but I'm glad he finds Scorpius to be a legitimately interesting character, because he very much is legitimately interesting. And like I said, he's my favorite villain in any media. Really, really interesting villain, and very refreshing to find a villain that actually is a villain. Moving ahead. Finally completed a set. Someone is collecting Farscape plates. Didn't know there was such a thing. And it's Hoofscaper. Okay, sure you're in the right fandom? How do you guys like the AMV I made? I'm not gonna watch it. Today I learned that the German voice of Ka Dargo in Season 4 is the same as Teal'c from Stargate. Namely, I think, Thilo Schmitz. Nice to know. By user, I like the Wraith. From... Those are Stargate Wraith. Okay. Well, yeah. Of course, these fandoms have some level of crossover, because, as I mentioned, Ben Browder and Claudia Black are in both shows, and even beyond that, they kind of have similar concepts in terms of taking modern people and bringing them into weird far reaches of space. Let's see. Take a look inside, you'll see his image, the only love of my life. It's not labeled as anything, but whatever. Adidas Germany has a little ad here, Tomodachi Life. I could sit here and wax lyrical about the qualities of a massive wormhole technology for hours. No, I should get the I should get the voice a little bit right. So give me a moment. I could sit here and wax lyrical about the qualities of a massive wormhole technology for hours. And then again, he's a little bit on edge, so I think I would go a little bit more. I could sit here and wax lyrical about the qualities of a massive wormhole technology for hours. Okay. Spoiler? Not really. The golden age of sci-fi on TV. Yeah, Farscape is very much credited as that. And I actually saw this post a little bit in depth. And there are a lot of people who are countering, how exactly this person defines the golden age. Erin taking her DRD on a walk. Yeah, I also like this one. because it's funny. Oh, Tomodachi Life. That's what this game is called. Fuck. And this one by Boston Terrier Pug. If you're a Farscape fan and don't know what this is, there's a movie you need to watch. Even if you're not a fan, you should probably still watch it because it's really good. And it's this guy who's looking at a picture of a portrait of a guy with a huge rabbit, and the rabbit looks at the camera for some reason. Let's see. Different. Does it have any description? Nope. I'm not gonna bother. Calm down, Chiana. So sack my... no, that's not how she sounds. Why did I give her that voice? I don't even remember where this is from. This is just... Yeah, but this is another one of those funny frame, funny line. Let's see. Couch Avocados. I've always liked the Farscape reviews on the avocado today, and today I found these recent reviews by the avocado. Couch Avocados TV discussion thread Farscape. A spoiler about Scorpius's powers. Well, he doesn't really have powers, really. He has enhanced abilities due to being half Sebastian, half Scarran. Spoilers, by the way. Scorpius thinks Rigel is lying and can't be trusted to betray Crichton, but when talking to Crichton, we find out Rigel absolutely would have sold them all out, had he believed Scorpius was trustworthy. So really, there are limits to Scorpius's powers, and if you wanted to flay Rigel alive, like Crace said, then there is no limits to his strategies. He sees betrayal as the ultimate sin and will kill Rigel afterwards as a warning to his own people, never to betray him. But A, who will want to sell out to him after that, and B, you can catch more flies with honey. He's smart and ruthless and cunning, but he's also not all-knowing, all-seeing, or even the best strategist all the time. That is actually true, and one very noteworthy thing about Scorpius is that despite being is that despite very much being a bona fide villain, he still he still managed to amass a great deal of not just a great deal of not just personal power in the sense of his own rank, which is higher than that of a captain, but maybe lower than that of a admiral or commodore figure. But also he has a very loyal core of officers around him, people who very much within whom he very much places his trust, and who reward his trust. But then again, calling them Scorpius's powers, as I said, they're not powers. They are abilities given to him by his distinctive physiology. One of these abilities is the fact that he can tell how whether people are lying due to how their heat signature changes. The idea being that if you lie, then you're a little bit more tense, and therefore your heat signature will change. Rigel, by contrast, is very much a born liar and con man, and therefore and that is a plot point at various points throughout the show, and therefore he does have and therefore he can very much play it cool even when he is even when he's saying absolute bullshit or doing absolute bullshit. And that is a thing that has come up again and again throughout the show. So in that sense, I am not surprised by this particular development. Moving ahead, another ad. The unhinged brilliance of Farscape. Oh yeah. Part of the joy of Farscape is that we write it seriously. David Kemper, who I think is one of the showrunners or producers or otherwise involved with it, notes, but everyone understands when it's a comedy and you can get humor out of it. There's always two edges to Farscape: seriousness hidden in comedy and comedy hidden in seriousness. That is, and yeah, that is very true. Situations can always turn on a dime, and it can become more dire, or it can become absolutely flatly ridiculous, and you really just have to go with the flow and really allow yourself to explore this world at the pace at which other people create, which I have to say is a very interesting and very fun development in general. Moving ahead, what happened to Sokozu in the Peacekeeper Wars? I don't actually know the answer to that off rip. Let me read through it. I finished rewatching Season 4 and immediately moved on to watch Peacekeeper Wars. Initially I went into Season 4 missing Jewel as I grew to like her, you and everyone else, but as the season went on I enjoyed Sokozu as well. Peacekeeper Wars, it is such a slap in the face to her character design, which was fantastic in the season, and I can't wrap my head around it. Well, there is one reason. In the episode before the Season 4 finale, she did a thing, and that thing could have caused her appearance to change. Just saying. Does anybody know the reason for the change? Well, I just speculated the reason. I would love to know what Rayleigh Hill, I imagine the actress playing Sokozu, thought of Sokozu's dramatic change as well. I tried to find some interviews but couldn't see it mentioned. Well, I already gave you my best my best approximation. By user Andromeda Ascendant. Well, look at that. Another another fan of another turn of the millennium sci-fi show set in the far reaches of space. Okay, maybe not far reaches, but still further than most. And the remaining posts are about a month older, so are about a month old from the current time. So I'm just gonna say that was it. I'm putting a stop here. Anyway, thank you for your attention, and I hope you enjoyed what it is that you've seen or heard about this show. If anything I mentioned made you interested in watching it, then go ahead and watch it. You will not regret it. Anything else? Oh yeah, my usual spiel. So if you've if you've enjoyed seeing this video, or if you've enjoyed what you've seen, then please like the video. Maybe even share it wherever you think other people will also like the video. If there is anything you'd like to add, either to the show itself or to my commentary on it, that is what the comment section is for. And if you want to see when my next video gets released, have I been talking too loud this entire video? I wonder. Anyway, please let me know if that's the case. Back on topic. So yeah, in the comment section down below. And if you want to see when my next video gets released, well then please subscribe. Please subscribe. And ideally also ring the bell or do whatever else YouTube will ask of you in order to keep you notified. I also have a main channel where where I talk about primarily talk about the print medium and selected works therein. A link to which you can find in the description down below, right past my social media links, which I also suggest you check out should you choose to. I'm trying to speak as low as I can manage, so I don't trigger the the picking right there. So if you see me talking in a specific way, that's why. If you hear me talking a specific way. If my thoughts on the print medium aren't of interest to you, well then I suggest you stay on this channel and go through my extensive backlog, where I primarily talk about television and cinema. Sometimes overviews, sometimes reviews, sometimes pitching revivals or reboots, sometimes just reacting to the fandom. And if none of what I've said sounds like it could be of interest to you, then I suggest you go ahead and do whatever you want the rest of your day, because it is your day after all. And yeah, that was it from me. So, until next time... Oh, fuck, I've been peeking all this time. This will be fun. This will be fun to check. Anyway, until next time, I am Jonathan Taylor. I am also Jonathan Taylor. But primarily, I have been the one-take man.